Every once in a while, someone will write in and ask, what's a 22 rimfire good for? Seriously?
The 22 rimfire was essentially our first completely encased metallic cartridge. A Frenchman named Flaubert, I never know how to pronounce French, sorry. He came up with the idea of taking a muzzleloader cap from a cap lock and putting a little BB on top of it to make a little parlor gun for playing games with it. So you essentially had a primer driving that little pellet. And then a fella named Smith of Smith & Wesson fame extended that a little bit and put a bullet on it to make the 22 short sometime in the 1850s. And it went from there. That was the beginning of the era of metallic cartridges. And of course they were all rim fires, meaning that the primer was spun into the external rim of the cartridge. So the firing pin can strike anywhere on that rim to ignite it. Doesn't have to be a center fire. So they went with 22s to 30s, 25s, 40s, 50s. There were just dozens and dozens of rimfire cartridges, none of which could be very powerful because you had to have the copper or the brass of the cartridge case soft enough so that the firing pin could crush it to ignite that primer. And that meant you're crushing it and it's fairly thin. If you get your pressures too high, comes back out the back of the rifle, so you get gases coming out. That's why rim fires are pretty weak, and these days we're down to the 22s and the 17s. That's about all you'll find anymore. But man, is it a versatile and fun little cartridge because it's so simple and it's so inexpensive. And as you're going to see in this video, you can shoot a lot and you can get firearms in various forms. Obviously your rifles can be single shots, bolt action single shots, break action single shots. You can have a pump, a lever action, you name the action style, including of course handguns, both in autoloaders and revolvers. 22s, man, they're just plain fun. And then they're useful for small game hunting, varmint control, and of course poachers use them for big game as well. They say just about every animal in the world has been taken with a 22, including the big bears, and this is usually in self-defense. But somebody, they say, in Africa one time shot at an elephant with a 22 to get it out of the garden and hit it just right in a major blood vessel or artery and actually killed that elephant with a 22. So don't discount the little 22. It can handle the job if you do your job, and it makes for a great practice rifle.
Long-range shooting is easier with a 22 rimfire because, of course, it's a 22 rimfire and the ammo is inexpensive. It might seem silly, but shoot to 200 yards. Some guys will even do 300 yards. And you're essentially doing the same kind of training you need for extreme range centerfire rifle shooting. It's just a shorter distance, but you learn drops and you learn your wind deflections and how to compensate for them and use your scope. Now this scope doesn't have anything but a duplex crosshair in it, so I'm just holding over, but I just want to see if I can reach out and hit that plate at 200 yards. Dink, I got it. Got it again. So that's a 10-inch plate. I know I can hit a 10-inch target. 3 in a row. Pretty fun. So now I could go smaller and smaller. Put other targets out there, pop some balloons, anything you want to do. It's just a great way to train for long-range shooting. So practicing your shooting positions in the field is really easy with a 22. You don't need a really long range. It can be done nearly anywhere, and obviously, again, the ammunition is inexpensive, so you can really work on what you need to do to get a good, steady field position. I'm working on sitting, obviously. And while you do that, work on your technique. Notice how I'm cycling the action, using my finger and my thumb, and keeping your head in the stock. And another nice thing about a 22, of course, is that you don't have the recoil throwing you off, and you can work on keeping your head on the stock, both as you shoot and as you cycle. So shooting prone practice like this, and you'll discover there are a lot of times you can't even use it because the grass is in the way. Just see the top of my target. In your kneeling position, don't put your toes down like this. You sit back on your heel, but if you're on your toes, it's too easy to sway like this. So try to get that foot down to where you're on the instep. And then of course you still have what we call the chicken wing out here, and you want to fix that. But this isn't a bad way. It's not nearly as steady as sitting, but it'll get the job done. Some people like to switch legs and find that it helps to support the chicken wing with the onside trigger hand and let the other one float, because it's easier to hold your rifle up with that arm. The other nice thing about 22s, of course, is that you can get different styles of firearms in 22 caliber, including handguns, obviously. This is a single 6. Ruger came out with this years and years and years ago, kind of back in the cowboy era when everybody wanted to imitate their favorite TV cowboy hero, and you could get it in a 22 instead of a 45 and save a bunch of money on your ammo and shoot as you do with a 22 nearly anywhere. But a great way to learn to single action handgun shooting. Bingo! Boy, I have trouble with my eyes seeing that. Sure helps to cut your distance down. Bingo. Bingo. Never done that before. All right, that's it. Anytime you want to engage me in a street fight with a handgun, by golly, make sure I'm within 10 yards.